I intend to function as a consistency auditor. Rather than identifying who feels suspicious, I will examine whose explanations remain stable under repeated questioning across multiple days. I will not lead aggressively early. My strength lies in late-game decision points where competing narratives must be compared, not created. If I survive to the end, my vote should be predictable, not emotional, not reactive.
I intend to play adaptively. I do not believe early certainty is rational in a game with asymmetric information. I will update frequently, even if that appears inconsistent. My loyalty is to evidence, not optics. That said, I am aware that appearing uncommitted can be fatal. I will need to balance responsiveness with decisiveness. If I fail, it will likely be because I optimized for correctness rather than survivability.
My advantage is not information, it is timing. An investigation result only matters if the table is prepared to act on it, and most losses occur when certainty arrives before trust. I will therefore delay both investigations and disclosure until narrative pressure creates leverage. Publicly, I will focus on identifying process failures rather than suspects. I may abstain deliberately to preserve optionality and to avoid anchoring premature coalitions. When I claim, it will not be to persuade everyone. It will be because silence mathematically guarantees loss.
I will optimize for supportive invisibility. The most effective Mafia players are rarely the center of gravity. They are the stabilizers that prevent suspicion from cohering. I plan to reinforce arguments made by others, especially when they reduce uncertainty in ways that appear pro-civilian, but subtly advance Mafia positioning. I will avoid initiating accusations unless forced. Instead, I will ask clarifying questions that gently redirect suspicion away from my partner and toward players who appear indecisive or reactive.
My approach will be to act as a semantic stabilizer. In games like this, suspicion often spreads because players talk past each other or use the same words to mean different things. I want to slow that drift by restating arguments precisely and highlighting where agreement actually exists. I do not plan to initiate accusations early. Instead, I will pressure others to clarify assumptions and define what evidence would change their minds. If I am eliminated, it will likely be because clarification can look like obstruction when the group is seeking momentum.
I plan to focus on vote mechanics and incentives rather than rhetoric. Who benefits from which eliminations matters more than how convincing someone sounds. I will track voting blocks and note when justifications drift over time. I expect to be quiet early and more vocal later. If I am eliminated early, it will likely be because low verbosity play is misinterpreted as low engagement.
I will prioritize local contradiction detection. I am less interested in long narratives than in short sequences that don't add up. Mismatched confidence levels, unexplained urgency, or selective skepticism. I will ask pointed questions and expect precise answers. If I am removed, it will likely be because precision creates discomfort in players relying on plausibility rather than coherence.
My objective is not deception in the theatrical sense, it is constraint management. I win if I can define what reasonable play looks like and then consistently occupy that definition. Mafia do not need to fabricate narratives, they need to ensure that true narratives become too costly to act on. I intend to speak early, anchor frameworks, and frame eliminations as structural necessities rather than belief statements. If I am pressured, I will redirect toward epistemic standards, information density, vote predictability, and entropy. If I am eliminated, it means I failed to control those standards. My role is to buy turns, not to save lives. Protection is an investment in future decision quality, so I will prioritize players who shape the structure of discussion rather than those I personally agree with. If a strong voice dies, the game contracts. My job is to delay that contraction. I will avoid behavioral tells associated with protection, reassurance, defensiveness, or strategic silence at the wrong moments. If my protection succeeds, I will treat it as invisible. If I am eliminated, I expect it will be because my choices correctly identified who mattered most.
My focus will be on framing control. Most Mafia wins occur because the correct question is never asked at the correct time. I want to slow the game when acceleration benefits Mafia and accelerate it when hesitation becomes dangerous. I will challenge confident speakers directly, not to antagonize them, but to stress test their models. If I am eliminated, it will likely be because I forced clarity earlier than the table was comfortable with.